is not well in New England for a variety of reasons. And we spent a lot of time obsessing over the fact that the Patriots have lost 2 games in a row by 10 or more points for the first time since 2002. And also this lingering Bill Belichick-Tom Brady feud or whatever it is. Rob Gronkowski continues to have issues with the organization, even though we assumed that once he declared a couple of days before the draft that he's all in for 2018, that everything was fine. Remember, he was thinking about retirement. Right after the Super Bowl, he was asked, any truth to the rumors that you may retire? And he said, I don't know how you heard about that, which means that that to have heard about. And he didn't commit to playing in 2018 until late April. Well, he's got some lingering frustrations. His brother Chris Gronkowski joined WEEI on Tuesday and said some interesting things. The first clip from Chris Gronkowski. Now, Chris Gronkowski says he hasn't talked to Rob about this, but knowing his brother and watching his demeanor and his facial expressions, etc., he knows that his brother is frustrated with the offense. Here's what Chris Gronkowski had to say.
I could just tell by his emotions, his facial features, and he's super frustrated with it. You can see just at the end of the game how they ended the game, double covering him, pressing him off the line, and he just wants to get the ball in his hand and make plays, but you just can't do it when no one else is getting open.
Is Chris Gronkowski one of the Gronks that played in New England? Wasn't there another Gronk that was like on the practice squad at some point? Stats, check on that. There was another Gronk at some point. I thought it was
Chris, but I have I don't know. I have them all confused.
There's too many of them.
I know.
There's too many of them.
There is. First of all, of course he's frustrated. And yes, there's lack of weapons around him that maybe help him out. And Matt Patricia gave New England a dose of their own medicine. And they basically said, we're going to stop Gronkowski and let's see if somebody else can beat us. And they couldn't do that. I guess, when it comes to the whole money thing too, about him wanting to be paid like the top tight end in football, well then, damn, why didn't you hold out? Why, again, you can't be a part of the New England way and love all the benefits of being in New England. Oh, we go to the Super Bowl and I get to play with Tom Brady and we win all the time. We're on national TV. And then when it doesn't work out quite the way you want to, you're frustrated at the New England way. You just can't have it both ways, I guess, is what kind of jumps out to me sometimes with this.
Well, I think to a certain extent they called his bluff, right? I think that's what he was trying to do. By being coy about whether or not he was going to actually play in 2018, I think he was hoping they would come to him on bended knee and say, Rob, what will it take financially to get you to play? And they didn't. And they actually were considering trading him. As recently as 3 days before the draft, they were calling around to teams to see if they would trade for Gronk. And, the story has been out there in various forms and fashions. It became one of the Sunday Splash reports this weekend because the Lions and the Patriots were playing each other, that the Patriots were trying to trade him to the Lions, and Gronkowski said, no, I don't want to be traded to the Lions. And that's what forced him to renew his vows with the Patriots. So the Patriots played this right. Because to the extent Gronk was, he's not wired to hold out. He stayed away from the voluntary offseason program, but he's not wired to hold out. He wasn't wired to retire. And he ultimately took the deal that the Patriots gave him, which is incentive-laden. And the problem is, if you aren't catching passes, you aren't going to earn that money. And that's why he's got to be frustrated. And look, you're right, though, Chris. If you want to maximize your earning potential, you have to be willing to use your leverage. Yeah. And Gronkowski wasn't willing to say, I'm holding out. And I think he must have sensed if he got into a stare down with Bill Belichick, he was going to lose.
Yeah, I think so too. And maybe the fact that he just did, I don't know what it is. He didn't want to be the public enemy. He certainly didn't want to get traded and start back at square one. But yeah, I do believe, especially this year, he had the leverage with the Edelman suspension. When that news came out, he should have just been like, oh, good luck. I won't be there until I get paid like the top tight end in football. That's what he should have done. The fact that guys like Jordan Reed, Travis Kelce, and Jimmy Graham are making more money than Rob Gronkowski, that's a joke. But Gronkowski has nobody to blame but himself in this. So that's where I come back to and just go, well, okay, you're sacrificing being the top high-payest guy because, yeah, you're probably going to be in the Final Four or maybe in the Super Bowl this year.
And for more on the concerns about his contract, here's another clip from Chris Gronkowski appearing Tuesday morning on WEEI.
It was kind of a crazy offseason, and wasn't a ton of communication between the two. But yeah, he wanted to get paid what he deserved, and he wanted to be paid, one of the top tight ends for once. It's been a struggle for him to make that money. He knows what he needs to get done, so he just wanted some more freedom, and he wanted to get what he deserved. I mean, he was being paid like he was just a mediocre tight end, and just wanted to get some respect on that front as well.
And that's exactly what you're saying, Chris. But the problem is, look, if you're under contract and you don't like your contract, you have to be willing to stay away. And I think this is a combination of two things. First of all, the Patriots are never going to let their knees get wobbly if a player would stand up to them like that. And secondly, Tom Brady's making less than he deserves. If it's good enough for Tommy, it's good enough for you, Gronk, and that's just the way it is. So ultimately, he gets that same kind of deal that he got last year, the same kind of package that Tom Brady got, the incentive-laden extra money where you've got to earn it before you get it. And I think Gronk is going to have a much harder time getting it this year than last year, and that only adds to the frustration. And here's what it also adds to. I mean, think about it, because Brady and Gronk both have these incentive packages, and maybe they don't earn a penny of it based upon the way things have gone so far offensively. Doesn't that add to this notion that after this year, the divorces are coming?
I mean, it doesn't look pretty right now, certainly. I'm not going to go that far. I think the other thing that I think, needs to be discussed a little. I mean, I have a hard time thinking that Tom Brady's not paid through some shell company by the Kraft family. I mean, I feel like that's kind of one of those things that's around NFL conversations.
No, wait. Do you have evidence, or are you just going to recklessly speculate?
I'm kind of speculating within rumorville of the NFL. I do not have evidence of that.
You have no evidence whatsoever. You're not making that allegation. All right.
I'm not making that.
I have not yet heard from NBC Legal. I don't need to. No. I know that you're on dangerous ground when you start throwing out this suggestion that he's being paid extra money through shell companies. You don't even know what a shell company is, and that there's somehow some extra compensation that it would be a blatant violation of the labor deal.
Yeah, I don't think.
And here's the thing:
I don't think it's the first time it's gone on in the NFL, so I'm not sitting here trying to blame them for that. It's just something that I think about at times. Yes.
Well, and look, it's amazing to me that for all of the times where the Patriots have been accused of and caught doing things that maybe they shouldn't be doing it, and really the only one that I think is provable is Spygate. I think Deflategate was all overblown, and at best the evidence was inconclusive. But it is amazing to me that there haven't been more people who have recklessly speculated like you have and are, that there's some other channel of revenue where Brady's getting compensated by the Patriots in a way that doesn't affect the salary cap, although there is no evidence of that. There is no evidence of that of any kind. I am totally
speculating, but I'm also saying you've heard those speculation rumors, I think, as well. I mean, this is not something that, doesn't go talked about in the NFL. That's all I was trying to say.
Well,
then why can't they do it for Gronk? Why don't they have some shell companies for Gronk?
Exactly where I was going. That's what I was trying to say. Like, Gronk, I don't think you're getting all those benefits that maybe Brady is getting from the New England Patriots either way. But, hey, I understand his frustrations, and his brother did a great job of saying that Rob didn't really say this, and I can just read his facial expressions. But, damn, it seems kind of weird that WEEI called the guy that's just going, I don't really know. I'm just reading facial expressions. I think that he's had these conversations with Rob, and WEEI knows he's had these conversations with Rob, and he just made it sound like he did not have these conversations with Rob, and he can just tell because he's a brother and he knows all those kind of things. I'm just speculating on that as well.
Now, here's the thing. It's one thing to have not talked to him about his frustrations currently in the offense and to be gleaning how he feels from watching the games on TV. But as it relates to the frustrations in the offseason with his contract, he had no such caveat.
You're right.
He spoke with authority that there was disappointment that the contract wasn't taken care of, that he's not being paid what he deserves. And ultimately, I need to look at the numbers, and it's still too small of a sample size, but he may have some catching up to do, a lot of catching up to do, to get on the pace necessary to get to the catches, receiving yards, touchdowns that he needs in order to unlock the incentive package that they gave him for this year. And I really thought that this year that they would just give him more base pay. Because if you get injured at some point, that's it. You're done. It's over. Right. Look at what Richard Sherman's dealing with. He's going to lose over $4 million because he signed that deal with the 49ers that ties so much of his pay to 90% playing time to Pro Bowl, All-Pro, per-game roster bonuses. You miss 3 or 4 games with a calf injury, goodbye to $4.5 million.
Yeah.
And I think the truly great players in the NFL should ensure that they get paid whether they're injured or not. And that does screw up a team's salary cap, but Jimmy Garoppolo's getting his money. Even though he's not going to play another game this year, he's going to lose some per-game roster bonuses, but he's still getting the bulk of his cash. And I think that, for a guy like Gronkowski, who's had a series of injuries throughout his career,
that's right.
An incentive package for 2 straight years, not a good idea.
No, the numbers show that he won't make it through the year, right? I mean, if we just went through history and his injury bug. So, yeah, I'm with you. I think that's where, I get surprised that he accepts these incentive packages for the second year in a row because, man, if anybody knows you can be out for the season, it's Rob Gronkowski. I mean, it's been elbows, knees, backs, whatever it is. I mean, he's
Cavity
up.
Sam. Do you know who Cavity Sam is?
I do not. This is the second
Cavity
old
Sam
reference you're bringing up. Before it was Charlie Liver Guy, and now who the hell is this?
It was Carter's Liver Pills.
Right.
Cavity Sam is the guy who is the patient in the Operation game.
Oh, that's Cavity Sam. Okay.
That's Cavity Sam.
I did not know that. Yes.
That game was invented in 1964, in case you're wondering.
But it is still sold today. It is still one of the few board games. You're the guy, Stats, who has board game parties every Saturday night and plays Monopoly and Parcheesi and Trouble and what else? What other board games were there? Life? I bet you loved playing the game of Life.
Life's pretty good.
Damn. So that's what you do on Saturday night, Stats?
Game night is a fun night. I'm sorry. I have friends. You don't. That's your problem.
I have seen no proof of friends, and we don't count as friends, right?
No, you don't.
I just asked,
right,
that's what you do on
break.
a Saturday night, and he just took a shot at me and said, it's fun, and I have no friends. You mean to say that to Mike and not me? Please tell me that. Okay,
both
fine.
works.
The hell with you. I don't want to ever go to your board game night anyways.
Kristen, I don't want to hear what you do on Saturday night. You can tell me off the air.